Hello, everybody, and welcome to Unplugged. My name is Julia Okujax, and we're still working our way through the foundational Mind Your Business series that we have scheduled for January and February of 2023. Our guests have been simply sensational as they've been willing to share their vulnerabilities, the times that they failed, the lessons learned along the way, and the plans for the future for us. And at Julia Jax Consulting, we are greatly inspired by them, and we hope you are too. We hope you also drop us a line and tell us what inspired you most, who inspired you most, and if you have any further questions, we've had 3 guests so far. If you have any further questions, 4 guests, yes. If you have any further questions, just let us know, and we'll pass on the questions. So today, our topic in this Mind Your Business series is Mind the Law, staying on the right side of the law. And our subject matter expert is Otasowie, I call her Otas, Otasowie Sokiprim Aigbedion. Let me tell you a little bit about her. Otasowie is a lawyer with over a decade's experience. She practices as a barrister and solicitor of the Supreme Court of Nigeria, and has been involved in virtually all aspects of commercial and civil litigation. Now, after a brief spell in the banking sector, Otas went on to handle matters involving, but not limited to, land law, family law, contracts, company law, admiralty, property law, and law of banking. Practically a whole gamut. I think the only thing you didn't do was criminal law.
Oh, I don't like it. It was intentional.
Okay. And currently, she's a partner in a growing business, so it's a great thing that we have her today, and it's a prestigious and burgeoning new firm called Gold Law Partners, and she deploys her wealth of experience in legal practice, specializing in litigation, alternative dispute resolution, real estate, and company law. Welcome to Unplugged, Otas.
Thank you very much, Mark. Happy to be here.
It's a pleasure. It's really a pleasure to have you. So, I'll start off with this. Many owners of growing businesses tend to be a bit vague and woolly when it comes about legal and regulatory issues, until these issues jump up and bite us in the face. Why do you think we are woolly like that? They're not how do I call it, intentional about asking what are our legal and our other regulatory. Well, for NAFDAC, for those who produce consumer goods and stuff like that, they have to, otherwise they don't even get.
Most of them don't even register.
Oh my word. Okay.
That's the truth of the matter. If you go through a lot of products, apart from those who have big names in production or consumption businesses, maybe the big supermarkets, if you go to the roadside supermarkets, you find that you find products that are made without that number. And Nigerians comfortably consume them every day.
Okay. So why do you think this is so? Why are we so comfortable with being deregulated and not being on the right side of the law, so to speak?
Information, education, and the way our educational system basically is structured. From childhood, you're given an impression that the law wants to bite you. Yes, most persons have that conception that anything that has to do with law, avoid it. But once it's a part of our educational system and they understand that it's good to be on the right side of the law, it's good to obey the law, it becomes easy for even children to adapt to that kind of system. One of the things I told myself I will adopt when I start having children is when I give them funds, I'll tell them remove a certain percentage. So that's your payment to the government.
To the government.
I'm a Christian, so I'll tell them remove your title also. So from that, I think if we are able to imbibe that into our children, we'll have a society that is more open to accepting what the law provides and not see the law as a vice instead of a virtue that will help us build our society.
Okay. Yeah, there's some things that I don't want to unpack, so I'll just leave it there. I know people can say, yeah, we don't really get help, yeah, but what needs to be done has to be done.
What needs to be done has to be done, and
Yes,
we can be better than the kind of society we are getting now.
absolutely.
Our society is the way it is because of the individuals and
Because of how we are.
how we are.
Yeah.
We're complaining about the society generally, but we haven't sat back and thought about, okay, how well am I doing my own bit? If you do your bit and I do my bit, I think this day we're going to have a healthier and more comfortable society for us to live. And that's the essence of the law. The law is not there to bite. If somebody says the law is an accident, that's because if together we think stealing is okay, why? It's okay.
Well, let me tell you why I think. Well, I don't believe. My sister is a lawyer,
Okay.
so I mean, I don't think the law is an ass. But sometimes some things just make you. I don't think it's the law here in Nigeria, but I know I've read it somewhere, maybe in England or America. I'm not sure that somebody breaks into your house, and in the process maybe gets hurt. Into breaking into your house with the intention to steal, rob you, and he gets hurt in your house, or maybe you defend yourself. You, the house owner, or the wherever the renter, or whatever, you are now liable for that person's injuries. I don't understand how.
It's not straight jacket. For instance, let me give you another example. I can't answer that straight because I know there will always be another part to it. It's just like somebody bashes your car and then you're the one taking care of the person. But the person is at fault.
Yes.
That's because they have an insurance system that works.
Yes.
So if you're meant to get an insurance for probably that kind of
Collision insurance,
yes, and all
those
that,
things,
and you do not have it at that point in time, somebody got injured.
Okay.
So it's not
Yeah.
just because he came to steal. That's not all there is to the story.
Okay. I think it's something I read a while ago. I'm like,
Why should I be
nobody
responsible?
should come into my house because I'm going after them with a
It
pestle.
doesn't have in Nigeria, so you're free.
I hope they don't come. Guys, don't come. Okay. So for Unplugged, our focus is growing businesses. But just to set the stage, must all types of businesses, from those mobile ones, corner stores, the ones we see on the roads, must they all, or even those who exist solely on the internet, they don't have any physical address, must they all be a legal entity, do they all have legal liabilities?
Kama says that once you carry a business for profit purposes, you should be registered within 28 days. So my answer to that will be yes.
Okay.
You must not necessarily be registered as a limited liability company, which means that you're having a distinct personality from the company itself. But you can register the business in your own name, showing that this is the person you can trace this business to. It's also a way of ensuring that those who come to invest or get services and goods from you know who they are dealing with. That's the essence of that. So in the books, everybody needs to be registered.
So Kama is what exactly?
Sorry, I assumed you know what Kama is. Okay, the Companies and Allied Matters Act.
Okay.
It's a federal legislation that empowers CAC, the Companies Affairs Commission, to birth business, regulate business, and even wind up business when necessary. I call CAC midwife of companies. So yes, before they are born, you're there to regulate how they should be born. When they are born, you're there to ensure that they do what they're meant to do. And if eventually the company feels okay, we do not want to exist,
they become the undertakers.
Yes, bury them properly.
Okay, that's an interesting perspective. That's a really interesting perspective. So, for those who are carrying on businesses online and they've not registered, like, okay, I'm not mentioning any names, when there are infractions and stuff like that, maybe they don't keep up their end of the bargain, they don't deliver. I know one of my colleagues had an issue once with, I think it was jeans or something like that, or clothes that somebody didn't deliver, and what kind of recourse do you have if, I mean, the person can just go offline and you can't trace them.
You know, the social media space is a very big space.
Yes.
It's big and it's small at the same time, in the sense that most online businesses may not even be registered or located in Nigeria.
True.
Now, before now, the challenge we're having in Nigeria is that we just have KAMA, a new Companies and Allied Matters Act 2020. There was need to review that because the previous KAMA we had never envisaged that the time will come where you will do business without having to interface with the people physically.
Yeah.
They never envisaged online transactions. And so even what we have for online transactions now, it's still burgeoning. We're still experimenting. We don't have solid things to hold on to because it's the new space for us that we are still understudying. So for online businesses, government is trying to put in taxes and regulatory rules, but it's still growing. So let's expect that in the next 2-3 years, well, not in fact, they sent in my previous firm, that's when they sent us a note. We did a review. Each lawyer, my boss, made everybody write what you think is right, what you think should be added to the correct KAMA that has been transformed, and that is still ongoing. So I'm sure very soon, because now whether you like it or not, I think we have more online businesses than physical businesses.
Yes.
So that will be taken care of.
Okay.
I think that completely answers your question.
Well, guys, it's not a threat, but it's an early warning.
Yes, it is.
Take notes.
It won't be business as usual in the next 2-3 years. I can assure you
If it's up to 2-3 years,
that's if you know.
if it's up to 2-3 years, because I think it's going to move pretty quickly.
Yes, it
It's
will.
going to move pretty quickly. Okay. So, what exactly are the different types of legal entities available for different businesses? Because you did mention there are different types of.
Sure.
Yeah. So.
We're talking about small businesses basically. So for the ones that are open to small businesses, first of all, I'll tell everybody, have a business name.
Okay.
So register a business.
Is that the one we call enterprise?
Yes,
Okay.
enterprise.
Okay.
That's basically the easiest you can get from KAMA. It's the cheapest form of incorporation or registration you need to do with CAC. It doesn't also require much. Prior to this time, I came across the fact that you need tax clearance before you could incorporate a business name, but not anymore. You don't need that. But you need your name. Now, prior to this time, you can use your driver's license or any valid identity card. But for now, CAC insists on name. So that's all that
Your name, like
your national identification number.
identification.
NIN.
No, okay.
That's what I mean.
Okay. Okay. Your name.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. So that's basically the extraneous thing that you will need. Otherwise, every other thing that they can be called. Or they will be registered. Now, the reason why a lot of persons do not want to register as business is the fact that they have to pay annual returns to CAC.
How does that work? How do you know at the beginning? Are you told when you register that you must
Yes.
pay annual returns?
Yeah. CAC doesn't have to tell you, but whoever incorporates for you, if you incorporate by yourself, you should know. That's because there's already a law. And ignorance of the law is not an excuse.
I agree, but hold on. I'm a small business owner. I am the one working behind the scenes. I am a social media poster. I'm a marketer. I am my auditor. I'm my accountant. How will I know?
That you should register your business.
No, that I should do, what did you say, annual
returns.
Annual returns. How will I know?
At the point of incorporation, it's one of the things. If you register by yourself, because you can do it yourself, when you go to CAC page, they will be there. Your obligations will be there, so you will see it. Most persons just click I accept that, then you go ahead.
So we must read the small.
It's important.
The small print.
Yes. It's not necessarily small. On the page you see it. Businesses pay annual returns, and for businesses that's the cheapest annual return. CAC has a stipulated amount for business names, so just get it done. I have registered a lot of business names for people. I registered for people who I said, "Have you paid your business? Have you paid your annual returns?" Like, no, I will pay. And one came up to me recently and said that I saw my company name on CAC, but it's on red. I said, "Have you paid annual returns?" He said no. So that's the reason why it's on red. So don't just click on updates.
What does being on red mean?
It means you haven't paid. You haven't complied with your information.
Okay.
That's okay if you're just, like you said,
You're everything.
yeah, you're everything.
Yes.
But however, if you have a customer who lives above board and wants to check you out, it it's not a good signal for you.
No, it's not.
So just pay it.
Okay.
So you have the business name.
So you can go back and pay in arrears.
Sure. But you pay the full
You
fees.
pay a
That's,
penalty.
yes. That's why just need to pay annually, I'm sure. Pay before the 31st of March every year. That's the business. Yes.
I see. Okay.
Then you have the limited liability company. Limited liability company is interesting in the sense that it gives you a distinct personality from the owner of the business. That's to say that if you register your company as a limited liability company, Julia Jack is different from the company. So any liability that the company has is separate from you.
Okay.
The company
That's
is
if the company is in debt.
yes.
The company can go bankrupt and it has nothing
It has
to do
nothing to do
with
with
me.
nobody comes to after your personal income and funds because you're registered separately. However, the annual returns for that is it's slightly higher than that of the business name. But we also had that it has advantages. We have easy access to loans, even for the business names too. The government from time to time brings out loan for small businesses to encourage them. So if you're in the right books or in the right side of the books, you're easily one of those that will be picked to access those loans.
Even
Then
as
you
a
have-
business name.
Even as a business name. But such opportunities are wider for those who have limited liability companies. Then you have NGOs, non-governmental associations, and where you have the churches to register as incorporated trustees.
Okay, churches are incorporated
Yes,
trustees.
churches are
Okay.
incorporated trustees.
Okay.
It's not basically for non-profit making purposes. Then you have the PLCs and unlimited liability companies. For now, we have just Mobile as the only unlimited liability company in Nigeria. What that means is that Mobile is telling you, because they're unlimited, whatever debts you do, we are capable to pay
Aha.
to it.
All right.
That's what it is.
That's a bold statement.
Yes.
Okay. So those companies we see saying LLC, like your own law firm, LLC, that's limited liability company.
No, ours is a business name.
Is a
No, no,
business
no.
name? Okay.
Because what the business name does for you, we can upgrade it. That's the
Okay.
beauty. You can move from one to the other.
To the other.
But interestingly,
But can you move from limited to?
you
Can
can
you
move
downgrade?
from. Why do you want to downgrade?
I don't know.
No, you can't move from limited to a business name.
Okay.
Because remember, the business name doesn't have a separate identity from the owner.
Okay.
It's just giving you a platform where you can identify the owner of the business, or the law can see who the business owner is. And so customers become comfortable to know that, okay, we are not just dealing with ghost people, or there are actual people behind this business. That's why you have the maker and sons, all those names we see around.
Yes.
So a limited liability cannot downgrade to a business name. What you can do is formally wind up and then incorporate a business name. But the winding up process is a little bit expensive. In fact, somebody approached me for winding up, and when I told you what it was, they were like, no, I will just leave the company there.
Let's
I will not,
see
let it die. Let's see do whatever it is they want to do. But I know the company is not running. I said that's dangerous, because something comes up and you just want to use that name for something. You have to pay all the backlog of annual returns. And then, in the eyes of the law, because you haven't wound up properly, it is assumed that you have been gaining profit. So whether you have books or not, they're going to assume that you probably are trying to shy away from your
Okay.
obligations,
Okay.
and then you not tax on it, which is not good. So just leaving it there, it's the normal and most comfortable thing to do, but it's not the ideal thing to do. So wind up properly and then go back and do a business. But I don't think it's called for.
Okay, so if you have I'm asking for myself, not for a friend. If you have a limited liability company that you have not used for a while, can you reactivate it? With paying taxes and stuff. I mean, when you're ready. Maybe you thought you were ready to move, and then life told you that you're not ready. Yes.
In the eyes of the law, once you register, you are presumed to be doing business. So even if you're not running, let your books indicate that, okay, there's no income, there's no expenditure. So when they want
There's
to tax you,
not been any
there's not
activity
been any
at all.
activity. But that notwithstanding, was paying on returns to CAC.
Okay. Okay, the midwife.
Yes.
Okay, well, I think that's very useful to know for me, and I believe for other people, it's very useful to know. But tell me a little bit about partnership. About 2.5 years ago, we had a guest who spoke to us about the issues of partnership. She had been in a partnership and it didn't end very well. And these days we tend to talk a lot about collaboration, and I don't want it to be like high level. It's the buzzword now. Collaborate, collaborate. What are the guardrails? What are the parameters you have to put in place to make a partnership viable? Is yours a partnership?
It is.
Okay. What are the things that you have to put in place to make it viable?
Okay, let me start by saying that for now, CAC gives you room to operate a partnership. I'm sure that had to be incorporated in CAMA 2020 because it was found out that you can't do life alone. In the same way you can't do business alone successfully because there are certain horizons you may not be able to break into because it's just one person pushing.
True.
Than when you have 2, 3, 4 persons push. So that's the upside of partnership. So what
And
happens
you bring your
now?
different strengths.
Yes. What happens now is that you can register a business name as a partnership. In the sense
Oh,
that
really?
yes, 1 or 2 or 3
Okay.
persons can come and register a business name. You can also register a limited liability partnership. That didn't used to be there. That was not obtainable. Now for the partnership with business name, all you need to do is probably come and pick somebody else who both of you have sat down to agree and then you register together. So it's presumed
But you have to have a contract.
that's between
And that's where a lawyer needs
yes,
to come
yes, that's between you. But there's also a provision for partnership now in CAC where the guidelines and requirements to register a partnership has been spelled out. So you can register it as a partnership and you can now register as a limited partnership in the sense that it's a partnership and we have a distinct identity. Now that will require a partnership agreement in the sense that we need to know how much is your liability and how much my liability is, so that if we probably decide that we do not want to work together again, we know how much to assign to you to pay as part of the liabilities. That's if the company is indebted in any way. Now the upside and downside of partnership it's like asking me the upside and downside of marriage.
Well, or even the business doing is alone, sole proprietorship.
Oh, that
Because
has
there's an upside and downside.
everything has an
Yeah.
upside and downside. It's just that the way society is now, it's advantageous to do a partnership, but the key values for doing life generally is all you need. If you ask me to do a good partnership, are you trustworthy? Are you loyal? Can I depend on you? Once those
Are you bringing your whole self?
into it, or I should be, or it's just a shadow of yourself that is coming in. Are you coming with a motive? Of course, it's profit making, but are you coming with an ulterior motive different from what I'm coming in with? Are you coming to shortchange me? Do you want to really build a business that will at least both of us and our children or the next generation that we have will benefit from this? So once the partners are able to answer that question, I think partnership is the way forward. Now, one of the things we did for us was that the people I partner with are two, and we had connected. We have the same faith, not the same church. But over time, I worked with these people, and I didn't have to question their value system.
Okay.
One of the reasons why I considered it was the fact that I saw that one of them had a strength I did not have. She dots her eyes and crosses her T's.
Meticulous.
Telling you. I know that's not my strength. I can get the job done excellently well. But she now takes a look at the other side of it that you're looking at. Okay. And then before you know it, we worked in the same firm. I just know that, okay, if I have to do this, this is one of the person I should have in my team. The other one is a male, and his strengths as a male in the profession cannot be downplayed. But that was not the only thing I looked at for, because there were other options and there's for. There were options that were good, that were better than that, but I didn't think about it because I know that we don't have the same value system. I cannot be telling that let's pay our tax. I tell me no. I know somebody who will help us that way, so that they just move us papers. It happens a lot.
It does.
In fact, I registered one and the person was asking me, hey, this thing, there's my other lawyer told me that there's a way they can go about it. There's a way about it. I looked at him, I said, yes, there's a way about it, but I would rather do it this way. he was insisting. So I went to the authorities, and the person I interestingly met, I said, I want to do this right. This is the kind of person I'm doing this for. I said, it's a lot of money. Let me even come out straight. There are different kinds of taxes to be paid. And one of the taxes you pay for buying a property is stamp duty.
Okay.
Whether as an individual or as a corporation, you must pay your stamp duty, showing that okay, you've done this kind of transaction, and then you give the states their own. It's just 3%. And the person failed to pay. He said his lawyer did not help him. But one of the things I do is I tell you, and I leave it to you to decide whether or not. A lot of persons first tell you, no, it's too much. I don't want to do it. But I tell you that you can't run away from it. It's a fee you must pay one day, except you just want to keep your property hanging. And let me just say this by the wayside. If you do a deed of conveyance, you must pay your stamp duty. It's a requirement.
What is a deed of conveyance?
If you buy a land,
okay.
a land must be, evidence of purchase of land must be by deed. It's not just a simple contract that you draw.
Okay.
It must be by deed. So once a lot of persons get that deed of conveyance, they feel, I've done all that is required of me, but that's not all that is required of me.
But can you defer the payments? Because it's not that I'm not on the side of the law. I'm just thinking like, having spent some money, quite some money, maybe procuring land or property for a business which hasn't started making profit yet, and then you have to pay stamp duty on top. Can you defer it to when you start making profits?
And pay penalty subsequently, yes.
Yeah, okay.
So what I would advise for companies, particularly growing business, if you need to buy landed properties, that may not even where you need to start from, because there are other things you need to do. But if you have the privilege of buying landed properties, in your mind, tell yourself that if you're buying for 10,000, tell yourself that it's 3% to this thing. So when I'm looking for the money to pay, I should add that 3% as part of it. It becomes easier for me to handle. Now that's better for you, in the sense that if you pay, for instance, if I buy in January, I have the leverage of paying that money till December.
Okay.
But if I buy in December, I also have the leverage of paying to the end of that December. So the person who buys in December looks like he's more disadvantageous.
Yeah.
Well, because he doesn't have enough time to look for that 3%, but he has
so you might as well move it to January and take.
Oh, better. And then have that leverage, and then relax to pay the money. But pay the money. Now imagine in this particular scenario now, the person stamp duty is 90,000 naira, and he has to pay 180,000 extra because of the number of years that has passed before he even realized that he needs to make that payment. So at the end of the day, it's a whole lot of money going. I would have been able to do something tangible.
I really hope that your law firm and other law firms maybe simplify this information, because there's a lot that you're telling me now that I didn't know personally. I would have thought that having lawyers all around me, as I know, but I don't know. I really don't know these things, and I'm sure some of our guests out there don't know either. So that's a very useful thing to do. A very, very useful thing to do. But let's go to taxes. I mean, there's one song. Actually, I didn't know it was a song until I researched it, and it's called about death and taxes. It said there's a song by Daniel Carter. It says, so you can check it out on YouTube. It says, "Surely my sins have found me out." Surely my sins have found me out. Only two things in this life that are sure. Of that I'm sure: death and taxes. And you'll die and you have to pay your taxes.
Very, very true.
Okay.
In fact, the illustration I gave you that just
exactly.
It's fine. He has got a lot, and he's gone on doing business. Yes. But years along the line, he's caught up with it. Now, he probably thought that this will never come up again. But if you need to make certain steps, like get a C of O, or even do certain
or maybe
things,
transfer the property to next generation,
or
they have to be stamped duty.
It has to be stamped duty. No, what you're transferring to the next
if
generation.
it's
If
your bill, if you haven't paid.
If you haven't paid, whoever.
That's a whole lot of stamp duty.
For your child to pay, can you imagine that? And now he now thinks this is really a liability or an asset to me.
So you now pass it on again to somebody
else. But it must be paid.
Oh,
particularly in organized societies, you can't run away from your tax.
And
that's why a lot of persons, and that's why a lot of persons will just declare that they are bankrupt. For them, it's better for them so that you don't come and stop them with the taxes they have to pay and all that. But it also doesn't put them in very good light. light in the sense that I don't want to deal with a bankrupt person because that's telling me a whole lot. Apart from telling me that you do not have money, it's also telling me that you're not faithful, you're not loyal,
True.
you're not truthful. Do you
True.
understand?
True.
So there's
True.
a lot
True.
around it. It looks like okay, you have gotten an escape route, but then there's something way bigger that may hinder you from getting the bigger picture in future.
Okay, so death and taxes. We can't run away from death and taxes. Interesting. But what are the kind of tax liabilities? Does every business type have a specific type of tax liabilities?
I don't think we can exhaust the different type of taxes that there is to pay. But for the small business, which is our focus, there are 5 major taxes that we should look at.
Okay.
You understand? For small businesses, the most important one is your personal income tax.
Okay.
Personal income, it means once you are earning, you should be able to pay a certain percentage to.
What if you're not earning yet, but you set aside? There's an owner's job, but you have not drawn on it yet. Do you pay on zero, like a funding the business?
I asked that question when I went to the relevant authorities. Let me just use that word.
Okay.
And they told me that I know it. I know clothing.
My husband might
I
be
know
feeding
pay.
me. Somebody else might
Yes,
be
but he
feeding me.
gave me the money. So at the end of the day, he came to you. That's what I was told.
Yeah, but what if he just gives me enough?
If he gives you enough, from that enough, they are going to tax
Surely,
you.
surely.
That's what I was told. I told you I went to the appropriate authorities. I know what measurements. And so for them, they have a method of just evaluating it. I told them it's not the best, and they too know it's not the best. I think they're working on it now. We are talking about oil, but if you look at it, tax is a good one. Actually, for
It
Nigeria,
is.
there are societies. In fact, Lagos is one. Let us go too far. Lagos is on taxes.
Yeah, IGR, that's
Yes,
that's
a
what
whole lot
tax.
can happen when people pay their taxes. I think the challenge we have with taxes is okay, people are what would they use for people outside for all that, so they want to hold back. But I think we should adopt a better attitude. Let me do my part and pray that those who I'm remitting to and take my civic responsibility seriously and ensure that those who are meant to handle those things properly are put there. So I'm sure that when I pay my tax, they will not siphon it or divert it or use it for what it's meant for. So when we grow up to that, it will be easier to pay taxes, but it's a whole lot. It also shows responsibility when I pay my tax.
Yes.
So I've gotten the money, I'm paying. Now it's basically pay tax, pay as you earn. So for small businesses, they feel it's not necessary now, it's only me now. Now one of the things I advise is pay yourself. Pay yourself. Even if it's too much, pay yourself. Because by the time your business account shows that you probably want to buy for yourself, you draw from the business account. Not buy your hair for ladies.
Yeah,
From the
we don't
business
have that.
account.
I don't have
Okay,
that issue.
you don't buy shoes, clothes, and every other thing.
Yeah.
You withdraw from the business account. It doesn't tell of your business
Okay.
record.
Okay.
So try to separate yourself
From the
from
business.
the business
Okay.
when you have an enterprise. It's important. And then pay your tax.
What if I borrowed money from because I think I've done it before. I couldn't get access due to network issues from my business account, from my personal account. So there was a personal thing I had to send to somebody. I didn't have to, but I decided to send the person a gift. And I paid from my business account, but I refunded it. I refunded that.
But you have the
exact
record
one.
showing
Yes,
that's okay.
that's okay.
That's okay, but there must be record. Then when you're putting in your personal money, you have to be seen as an equity or as an investment or a loan to the company. So that you can also, if for instance your business needs money and you personally have money to fund that business, you put it in as a loan into the business and then you pay yourself interest. There's general loan rates.
Oh really?
Yes, you pay yourself interest.
What
That's what.
percentage?
No, it depends. Different banks will give you different, and the percentage today may not be the percentage tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
You understand? It depends on the rate CBN gives them on a daily basis. So there's an average that they should use for loan. So you probably use that as your loan for that account. So you separate from your business.
So you have pay as you earn.
Yes. Then we also have VAT.
Okay.
For VAT, it's not the business paying VAT. VAT is value added tax. I'm sure eventually all Nigerians are aware of that. What VAT is saying is that pay for the value that you have been given. So it's paid on goods and services that has been rendered. Now, the business is not meant to pay VAT. However, the business is meant to collect VAT and remit to the appropriate authority. So that's where the payment of VAT comes in for companies. Do you understand?
So
Let me explain.
yes, thank you.
You engage my services to incorporate your company,
Okay.
and I charge you a certain fee. When I charge you, because I know I will have to pay it's a service I'm rendering, I need to stand in the group books of the law. So I will ensure that when I have given you your charge, I'll tell you pay 7.5%, which is currently the VAT rate in Nigeria. It used to be 5%, but it's now 7.5%. I will now give you 7.5% of that amount that you're paying me as VAT, as part of my fees. So my what's it called, invoice, you have that. That's what we do in our firm. Now, we'll give you an invoice. There are times we don't do it for certain clients because we probably want to maintain a relationship, but then we know how much that is. 7% of whatever it is we have collected, 7.5% goes to.
So it's now your responsibility to remit it to
and that's where the challenge is for most companies. They collect it and they don't remit.
because that's not your income.
No, it's not meant to be your income. What you're helping, what you're doing, that's why I said
It's collecting on behalf of.
It's putting you in a good light.
Yes.
Goodwill. It's goodwill. You know, one of the things that sells for companies is goodwill. When you're doing annual returns for big companies, see them put goodwill. This is one of the things that puts you in a good light in presence of it. Because this people have been remitting so and so tax. I mean, for all services, they've been able to help the government generate this amount of money that will be used for the development of the society or for educational purposes. So basically, VAT puts you in a good light, and everybody wants to be in the good books of the government. If they look at you like, this person has been remitting tax, guess what? If something comes up and they feel they have 5-6 persons to pick up from, it already puts you in a different class.
I see.
In a unique position. So that's one of it. And it's quite easy. So you're not the one paying it. Why don't you just collect it and then go and give it to the
So you have to have a VAT number, VAT registration number.
VAT registration number, yes.
Yeah.
Or no, you already have your tax number.
Okay, so
you just
it's
use
the
that
same
and
one.
then,
Okay.
you indicate the kind of tax
Tax it is.
that's being paid. Then you have the capital gain tax. Capital gain tax is when you buy properties.
Okay.
The gain. No, when you sell now.
Okay,
when you sell properties.
Okay.
For instance, estates management people should be paying the capital gain tax. When they sell properties, the gain you get from it, you pay a certain percentage to the government. Then you have the personal income tax, or company's income tax, not personal income tax. Personal income tax is for your personal income percentage that should be put out. Say something about that we need to just focus on our small businesses that we haven't been paying attention to. For the company's income tax, the government requires you to pay in a certain amount of money. It varies. There's no from 10% to 5%, depending on what you do. Now, for oil companies, theirs is way beyond that. So, but we're not talking about big companies. Let's focus on the small companies for now. You pay that certain amount to show that okay, I've made profits for the year, and this is my own contribution to the government for it. Interestingly, because Nigeria is peculiar and unique, thankfully so, they recognize that small businesses need a good platform to thrive. And so if you're earning less than 25 million naira for now, as I'm talking to you, you are not meant to pay companies income tax. You understand? But above that and above, you have to pay companies income tax.
Okay. I think that's good to know.
Then there's the educational tax, which we don't think about or talk about. It's just to say that okay, for what I've made, it's supposed to be 2% goes to the government just to improve education.
Okay.
Or the other person. And those being responsible do not even ask for the tax, but it's one of the taxes that small businesses should pay.
Should pay. I will actually make a plea again to Gold Law Partners and other to just write it out for us and let us know. I know you say ignorance of the law, and I've heard this one. Like I said, my sister is a lawyer. Ignorance of the law
It's
is
no
no
excuse.
excuse, but sometimes we really don't know.
Even the
Really
lawyers, let me tell you, even the lawyers, yes, they know and back of their mind because we find out a situation where tax is not the focus on. If I have a lot of colleagues now who are going to be a master's in tax law because it's a good man, it's a burgeoning area of law in Nigeria. So even the lawyers too need to be aware that we need to drive this to get a better society for ourselves. So we will need to do that for ourselves. And another thing that will help is the appropriate authorities to telling us what is expected of us. Rivers State government is doing a good job in the sense that every January you hear them saying, go and pay your tax. I'm sure you hear that announcement. It didn't used to be so common.
Do you have to pay your tax in January? Is that a
It's a
personal
new year.
income?
Yes, now it's a new year.
What if my financial year starts in April?
For the government, it's January to March. So whatever it is you're doing, if your financial year starts in April, the government's financial year starts from January to December. So whatever it is you have from April to December, go and pay that.
Okay. I got you. Okay. I have a question. It says, let me read it. This is from Priscilla. She says, every business faces a unique set of risks. While some can be minimized, this person must have some legal background by contracts, entity formation, and other proactive steps. What other risks should SMEs guard against? I don't even know what is entity formation.
Entity formation, business formation,
Okay.
entities, those are entities.
Okay.
Give them distinct or unique, different from the owner. Giving them distinct and unique
Identities
from the owner.
Okay.
Risk management. We'll answer that question most appropriately.
Okay.
It's just like you're going into business. The peculiarity of the business you're going into will determine the things you need to consider as risk and what you should guard against. So there's no straight jacket answer to that, but there's a general one because we are talking about taxes today. Pay your tax on time. Apart from paying your tax on time, develop a situation or a system where everybody in your company will be paid income definitely. So they should also learn to pay their taxes from their income. You as an employer should deduct it from them, even if it's 10,000. I'm going somewhere.
Okay.
I'm going somewhere with this.
Okay.
Now, interestingly, most small businesses do not realize that there's a pension act. That's in Nigeria, we don't really focus on pension. Most businesses do businesses and then you don't pay pension. Pension is you bring a certain percentage, the employee brings a certain percentage, and you remit it to the pension authorities or the pension companies.
But some of these things can be done from day one. Because you're working towards it.
They may not be done from day one, but once you start making payments from day one, shouldn't you deduct it? Do you understand what I'm trying to say? I understand where you're coming from, but I'm also saying that remember being on the right side of the law.
Yes, and sometimes we are getting on our way to being on the right side. We are minding the law and getting our way.
And I think that was put into consideration before they said, okay, run this business for a number of days before you now go and register. Do you understand? So let's assume you don't just wake up and say you want to start a business. I'm sure there would have been a plan.
True.
Most times, these are not the things the people factor into the plans.
Absolutely.
So we're now telling you to while considering this, factor this into it. It will help you. It will help your employees. I'm sure if you pay somebody 10,000 naira as income, which is nothing to write home about in Nigeria as it stands today, and you're able to help the person pay a certain percentage as pension, and you're able to help the person pay his tax, because we're going to talk about a few advantages of paying his tax. Now, by the time the person knows that, okay, even if the money is small now, but at least I have some pension. As things with them, they are going to be putting small interest every month. And then they also think, I have income. So if they tell me to bring my tax clearance now, at least I have a paper to show that I'll be paying tax from this small money I'm earning. I'm sure you are likely to retain a person as a staff than somebody who doesn't pay. The person feels I'm not obligated. I can stand up and leave. And one of the things that affects small businesses is the fact that staff still stay. Is one general complaint I've heard. I find it difficult. Most of them blame it on lawyers. Yeah, sometimes I laugh. It may not necessarily be loyalty. It may just be these little things that will make your business these things. That will make someone say, okay, yes, it's not good enough. But because of this, let me just stay longer.
There's
And
something
that's
like micro pensions, aren't there?
Yes, they are.
Okay. So
There are
it's-
different pensions.
pensions,
So
yeah,
you
so
just consider
you can
the
find the one
yes,
that
that
works.
suits you.
Okay.
But just take that step. It would be in fact for me it was a determining factor to pick the first firm I worked for. When I knew I was going to pay the pension, I was like, okay, let's stay there. Not so much, but then
It's something.
It's something, and interestingly, and let's do something big after I left, and I'm like, oh, I have this amount of money. I was happy, it didn't cost me anything. I didn't feel I was robbing anything, but there's something
Because
that
it was taken at source.
It was taken at source, so I didn't have to sweat over it. But it was something I looked back, I was like, oh, that's good. And I just thought to myself, it's a good way to start. It's a good way to start.
Well, guys, if you're listening out there, it's I hope you're listening. I'm learning a lot, and I want to fight her, but I can't fight her because she's telling the truth. I mean, even in the Bible, Jesus said, "Give up." When they talked about taxes, said, "Give up." She took the coin out of the fish and said, "Go to."
Whose face is here? First of all, ask them, whose face is here?
Yes,
Caesar.
yes. So we have to give on to Caesar what is Caesar's, and we pray that Caesar will do what he has to do with the money on our behalf.
Yes.
Yes. So, but we have to do our own part of it, and let it go from there. So we've been speaking with Otasowie. I call her Otas. She's a lawyer. Otasowie Aigbedion. I hope I got that right. Aigbedion. Yes, Aigbedion. Sometimes I find it because my birth name was Oku, surname was Oku short, and married name Jack. So I'm like, so once it's more than four letters, I'm like, help me here.
I understand that.
Yeah. So we've been speaking with her, and she's a partner in the Gold Legal Partner. Gold Law Partners. I'm so sorry.
Okay.
Gold Law Partners, and she's been taking us through the importance of staying on minding the law. One thing that she said, which is very important, is that the ignorance of the law is no excuse. It will not give you any get out of jail free card. You will be prosecuted by that law. She's also told us a lot about the different types of legal entities, business entities we can have legally. And then also we've been talking about taxes, which I'm sure is a sore point for many of us, but it can turn into a sweet point because this is my feeling. Many people want good leadership. And I was talking to someone yesterday, I said, how about good followership? We have to be good followers, because how else will we demand with all, authority that things should be done right when we are not doing things right? And Otas has been telling us a lot about what we should do right and how we should get it done. And I am begging her to please put it out, if it's in a series of posts on social media. Otas, I think we have your social media handle. Okay, we don't have it yet. Okay, all right. So once she sends it to us, and I'll just keep begging her, because I have worked with Otas before on behalf of my company, and I will work with her this year, because as she told us, March, we have to pay our taxes by March. We have to pay our taxes by March. I remember, I'm coming back to what I'm going to say. I wanted to say that I remember sometime years ago, a friend in the US used to keep all kinds of receipts and stuff like that, And when I asked her, I said, why you keep on this? It's for tax season. There's some things that I have to charge back and I'll get returns. You know, if I spend above a certain amount, I'll get tax returns. You know, do we have tax returns in Nigeria?
On paper, yes, practically I cannot say.
Okay.
I
Okay.
cannot say. I
Answered like a lawyer. Answered like a lawyer.
But the advantage of paying tax in Nigeria is, there's this syndrome of people wanting to go outside the country.
Yes.
One of the requirements to be a tax clearance. It's not a huge issue here, but where you're going to, trust me, it will
It's a
be
big
rotating.
thing.
And that's the reason why you should separate your personal expenses from your business. One of the advantages you also have when you're in business is that you have opportunities of going for business meetings outside the country. And so one of the things you need to present is
Your
your
tax.
tax clearance as a business entity. So when you're in the group, all of that becomes easy. Most times what we find is that at that point in time, that's where a lot of persons are paying a lot of money. And at that point they don't really mind to pay the penalties because there's something bigger they're looking at. So why put yourself under that pressure?
That pressure.
Just do it right.
So
And
just
when
plan it.
becomes
Budget it
easy,
at the
yes,
beginning.
it becomes a smooth sail for you. Then you also want to obtain loans. It's one easy way to assess how viable you are for that loan that you're obtaining or you want to obtain. So pay your taxes.
So all of these things have to do with good corporate governance, being a good
Oh,
corporate
sure.
citizen. Okay. So let me segue into corporate governance. There are different things. Some people have advisory boards, boards of trustees, board of directors. What's the difference? Are we just playing around with words?
No, we're not playing around with words. When you, like I said, CAMA is the regulatory book and CAC is the regulatory organization for company corporations. They have all of this stated out in CAMA, So for business, then nobody really expects you to have a board. But for limited liability companies, we have directors.
So can you have advisory board?
Not sure for good company what's called management, sure, why not?
Do you have financial responsibilities towards your advisory board?
It depends on what
we agree.
works for you.
Okay.
I know somebody who works in one of those big firms, and so she wanted to veer into something. She had studied in Harvard and came back to Nigeria. One of the things she said she did for herself as a business was to get a board to check her and her business. People she picks, because she had a good business mind, were people who were friends or who were knowledgeable in these areas. Most of them were willing to do it for her for free.
Okay.
Do you understand? But she just wanted a check so that when she's making decisions, there was time she wanted to employ a secretary. You're like, why do you want to employ a secretary? This cleaner can double as this.
Okay.
She never saw it from that perspective. And it was good thinking. Basically, the reason why you have more than one head, one good head,
One good head.
is so that you can get superior thoughts. So as long as you can get a group of people to give you superior thoughts to ensure that your company moves to the next level, why? It's good, even if you're a business owner. So you can have an advisory board. It's not compulsory. But the bigger you get, you cannot tell me you're the first bank. Sorry for doing that.
They're coming for you.
You're a frontliner bank, and then you don't have all of this in place. In fact, you won't even be completed in the first place. It's a requirement, it's a prerequisite. So that we are sure that our funds are going to be managed properly, or if you're going into businesses that will require people to make one contribution or the other. So people don't want to be scammed. They want to be sure that this is authentic. So, and they also want to be sure that at the end of the day, you're not enriching yourself through them. So these boards are necessary. For a limited liability company, you need a board. That's why they tell you to make a resolution. One person cannot make a resolution. You need more than one.
One person.
So that's it.
Okay. So I hear, and I tell me if it's correct. He said, did your father tell you this? That to run a business excellently, you need to understand the business of the law.
Yes.
Okay. Now what did he mean?
My dad is that okay, quite old now, quite advanced now. He's an accountant, and one of the things we learned, which was in my house, is the fact that we have good work ethics. I recall leaving my last boss. In fact, I left my first boss and I was grateful. I was shocked. I don't know how, you know. And then I was in my second boss, and he told me something very profound. I hadn't left me. I was saying thank you to him. He said, "I don't have any complaints." That was huge for me. And those were things that I know I got from my dad.
Yes, ma'am.
My dad likes to do this right. He may not have said that in being on the right side of the law, because if I want to help against the law, first of all, family, nuclear family. Like, okay, as long as you're going to do your work, that's what you want to do, go ahead and do it. So when it was say be on the right side of the law, it not necessarily the legal aspect per se. Do things right.
Do things right. Do things right.
But a friend also told me, in this business of the law, there's one thing to know the business, it's one thing to know the law. It's another thing to know the business of the law. So, yes, all of that put together is minding the law. So don't just ignore the things that, if I'm, for instance, I do litigation, so I write written addresses. Written addresses like where your mind comes in and all your experiences come in as a lawyer, your reason and everything is put to test to know how well you can convince the judge to take your side and not the other side. So it takes a lot. And when you're doing that a lot, you forget that, okay, you're tuning out this and this is good, but there are other things that will get you to that you also need to pay attention to. So you may be doing the work effectively, but the other benefits and other things that come out that makes you a better lawyer or an holistic lawyer, you not looked at. So that's where that comes in.
Well, thank God for daddies. Thank God for parents. Yeah. Thank God for people that we have along the way who are like the angel on your shoulder telling you, hey, do this, do that,
It's very important.
Very important.
Sometimes you're blindsided. No, sometimes you even know. But it takes a tap on your shoulder to tell you that, give this a consideration. You're like, what have I been thinking about? But I know this now.
True. And I think we had a guest last week, Blessing Leah. She's a financial expert, and she helps people manage. And she talks about making money, multiplying money, but that the bridge is managing money. And part of managing money is budgeting. And not to go over, guys, you can go check it out on YouTube. It's up on YouTube at Julia Jacks Consulting. But one of the important things she said was that you need to put everything down and budget it and multiply it by 12 months. I know if you have a business, I know if you have a business. So I really do cherish this. For me, it's not that we knew everything in Julia Jacks Consulting. Every guest we have, especially subject matter experts like you, teach us a lot about what maybe we knew theoretically but we have not done. So thank you very much, Otas. Thank you very much. And I am going to be asking you this more and more. Please just tell us the few things that we have to do, or the many things we have to do: limited liability, business name, incorporated trustees, Make sure you do this. This is how you do it. You can do it online. I know some people have told me they've done it online, then they get to a roadblock.
And that's because CAC requires to register as an agent. Now, there's been a lot of transformation in CAC. Prior to this time, only a lawyer, a chartered accountant, or a chartered secretary, also one,
You are one, okay.
that can access their platform to do most of the things. Or with the recent camera, you can go online to do, or they require to be accredited, so you seek accreditation with them. But at the end of the day, because of when you have an understanding, a foundation of why you're doing things, and that's for one person, and then there's another person who has the knowledge that this should be done, the outcome will be different. Because I understand the foundation, I understand why I should do this. So the way I will do it, the result I'll get will be different. So probably that's what happens when people now go and register, they're like, they get stuck and they don't understand why they are stuck. So, oh my gosh. I think generally, in fact, I met somebody who had registered a company before, and I've been telling him to pay around it was. So I asked him, like, I'm pretty around. He's like, yes, it's going on. Oh, that's good. And I know how much I'd have charged him for me. That's income loss. But then, it's a good thing he's able to do.
I'm going to find out from how to do it myself. I'm going to find out from her.
It could be very cool, but of course, if you have all the time in the world, first I'm talking about
Which I don't. I really don't.
you can do it, but then you're not necessarily paying for the services alone. You're paying for my time and professionalism and all that. So
And just making sure that it is done
Yes.
right. Okay. So we're winding up now, and it's been for me a very informative, as you said, to share information and knowledge at the beginning. That's what you said, and I have learned a whole lot. So thank you, we really appreciate it. We really do appreciate it. So what I'd like to ask you is to tell us as owners of small businesses, what are the 3 or 4 things that we should have maybe legally to help corporate be better business, to mind the law and make sure we understand the business of what we are doing and be on the right side of the law.
For small businesses, I'll say registration.
Okay.
That's where a lot of businesses miss it. Some persons have been doing business over time, and then there's a break, and they are telling you bring these documents. That's what you remember. And sometimes a lot of persons have narrowly missed very vital opportunities because they were not prepared for the opportunity. So just get yourself prepared, register. It looks like there's a lot with what I have said, but the benefits are also advantageous for your business. So get your business registered. It may look small, but get it registered. It will help. That's what. Then secondly, separate yourself from the business. It's important. I know it's difficult because of the society we live in. In fact, we experienced it as a small business when we started. We had to pay rent, that's huge capital and other things, And then the needs, it's not like the needs are waiting for you to fulfill these ones before they now arise. They are coming alongside. So the temptation to dip into that is very high, but try to separate, have an account. You don't necessarily need to employ an accountant. You see that your cleaner that comes in, after she cleans and then she sits down, she's pressing her phone, is a good resource person for you to keep your books. So you say that, okay, when this money comes, record it here. When you will spend this one, record it here. So you have an income column, I'm sure Blessed Mary would have dealt with that because that's her expertise, And by the time you do it, you have a record. Just ensure that you have records. I'm not a good record keeper, and that's one of the reasons why I partnered with one of the persons I partnered with. Because I know that's important. I can't say I'm not a good record keeper and then just continue to do business without paying attention to that. So pay attention to that. And then I would advise, it's difficult in Nigeria because you don't necessarily see what your tax are paid for, are used for. It's difficult. It's a difficult scenario. If I give you value for your money, you want to come back. But if I don't give you value, you're asking yourself, why should I go back? Why should I be doing this? It's a reasonable question to ask, but we need to break that chain. We need to ensure that we raise a new generation that understand that, okay, even though things have been like this, they do not necessarily have to be like this.
Things can change
and should change. Our children should have a better country to look up to. People should be clamoring to come to Nigeria.
Because we comply when they go out of this country.
Interestingly.
Yes.
Let me give you an example. Sorry, I may be taking this super. I was in a vehicle one day and somebody drank water and chewed up. For me, my dad tried for us, and so we went to good schools. Although I went to government secondary school, the only person who went to government secondary school because I chose to. The guy was surprised. Like, well, I don't even know why I made that decision then. So in primary school we had been taught don't eat and throw things. So I see my bag very dirty. My sister was like, keep Nigeria clean and keep your bag dirty. I don't
I do
understand.
it myself too.
And then when she did that, I was like, why did you do that? I was like, the question she just came. So with her level of exposure, I didn't expect that. So I need to ask, brother, when you try to Nigeria now? I remember like, I just get ready. I didn't want to go, but I'm sure the question I have asked has also, because she's smart,
triggered something
in her thoughts. So I didn't just want to push it, but I'm sure she knew that this wasn't comfortable. So we can comply. We do comply. It's not difficult for us to comply. Now it's easier for her to comply because she knows that this
The
thing is
penalties
working. The
were there.
penalties, apart from that, then it's a working society. I've had friends go there. It's like, oh, this is a different country. As in the air I breathe is different. Say things are better. Like, this is my same phone. One person said, this is the same phone I was using in Nigeria. Is it that the environment is different?
Well, I'll tell you, my biggest shock was how internet speed.
Okay, you can imagine.
I was shocked. I'm like, my goodness. I was doing things that I'll spend 1 hour trying to, and the thing is still loading. I'm like, wow.
So when they tell you to pay tax in that kind of society, you won't think twice.
Sharply.
Because you know you're getting value. Well, here we're not there yet, but we look forward to getting there. So let's pay our taxes, get your company registered, separate yourself from your business, and then pay your taxes.
Well, guys, you've heard it from us. You learn how to mind the law and to stay on the right side of the law. It's also that we can be better corporate citizens, operate our businesses at any level in the right way. And most important of all, Julia Jacks Consulting wants to focus on businesses that want to grow, and to grow, all of these things have to be at your foundation, and you can grow from any level and be as big as you want, but the foundation has to be right. I hope you've taken notes. I have taken mental notes, and Otasowie and her legal firm will be available for you. We will share the contacts. We don't have it right now, but we'll share the contacts after this, And next week, join us. We're going to talk about something really interesting, and that is excellence, grit, and pivoting. Very important. And resilience. Yes, resilience. Yes. So it's going to be a very interesting program, and I look forward to having you here. And thank you very much, Otas, for being our guest today.
Thank you. It's my pleasure.